Often during their 47-year existence, the New York Mets simply have had to endure. They've been pained with having to grow up in the shadow of the mighty Yankees. A bigger indignity might have been having to call Shea Stadium home, a dual-purpose facility never confused for a pleasure palace, and one nearly outdated soon after its opening in 1964. But today in Queens, it's a whole new ballgame. Shea is literally rubble, and Citi Field is the Mets' gleaming $800 million jewel for both the players and their fans. And team executives want you to know that everything's changed for the better.
This is a ballpark, and that was a stadium. This is an intimate, baseball-specific, ideal facility that was intended to optimize the fan experience. Shea Stadium was the first in that then new generation, multi-use, monolithic, circular stadium serving both baseball and football, probably really disserving both because you have to make compromises in that situation. We did not want to make any compromises. We wanted this to be intimate and ideal from a baseball fan's perspective.
Yes, visitors are now treated to a 42,000-seat retro ballpark featuring quirky dimensions borrowed from a bygone era, and outfield walls ranging in height from 8 to 18 feet. While also expected to be a pitcher-friendly park, Citi Field has more than 15,000 fewer seats than Old Shea, which had cookie-cutter dimensions and a symmetrical look and feel. The reasons behind the changes?
To give the fans a better atmosphere to be in, put them all closer to the field. Nobody's now in the upper deck. We don't have an upper deck anymore. It's now the promenade. And just really for the fans to have a better experience watching Mets baseball.
That experience begins outside the main gate in Mets Plaza, where you'll find fan walk pavers, etched with personal inscriptions. It's also where fans can take in this latest throwback ballpark, the 19th such facility since the Orioles began the retro movement in 1992. Despite serving New York's huge fan base, Citi Field is smaller than 11 parks built since Camden Yards opened, and it harkens back to the days when the old Brooklyn Dodgers called New York home.
This one really came about because we knew we wanted the outside to have a great, sort of iconic look of Ebbets Field and brick and limestone and a strong presence on the streetscape.
Once inside, as fans walk toward escalators and stairs, they're reminded of one of baseball's icons, Jackie Robinson. This rotunda, named for the Dodger great who broke baseball's color barrier, displays the values he stood for.
As we look on the floor also, you can see his ideals are into the floor as well over here.
As with many modern ballparks, Citi Field has spacious suites, clubs, shops, and several restaurants. One is the Acela Club, where select ticket holders can dine in style in the glass-enclosed eatery without missing a pitch. And how about the ground-level Modell's Clubhouse in right field? It has garage doors that roll open to provide a unique game perspective. How to pay for this newfound luxury? Ticket prices range from the affordable to the throat-clearing cost of $695. That's per game. Is that difficult for the average fan to swallow?
We have some expensive seats, but we have many inexpensive seats. Tickets start as low as $11. I believe that a third of our seats are priced at $25 or less over the course of the full season. Only 6% of our seats are what we consider premium, $200 or more. So we think we have struck a proper balance.
Now, as for the players themselves, they'll also be rather comfortable in their new digs. Their 25,000 square foot clubhouse is 2.5 times the size of the old one at Shea. It boasts 52 wood-paneled lockers, leather couches, and several flat-panel TVs.
A little bit bigger, a little bit nicer finish than what we had at Shea Stadium.
Just a little bit?
No longer do the Mets have to share the batting cage with opponents. And when they're not playing pool, on this logo-emblazoned table, players can rehab in this pool, the multifunctional HydroWorks training spa.
You can swim in it, you can run in it, you can actually bicycle in it.
Trainers can keep an eye on players, whether they're working out in the water or when they're building muscle.
The weights have our logo on them, which I love.
And bulking up the bottom line will be a priority when the Mets are away. Citi Field was designed to host non-baseball events like conferences, trade shows, private parties, on off days, and in the off-season. And while nearly everything is new, there are a few carryovers from Shea, like the hokey but beloved apple that popped up after a Mets home run. Now retired, it's sure to become a popular meeting place for fans. The Mets have installed a new apple in center field, which is set to carry on the team's tradition. It's a nice retro touch for a modern ballpark full of 21st century amenities. John Klobuchar, The Associated Press.